Welcome back. Today we are talking about my bow. This bow is pretty much set up exactly how I'm looking to hunt with it this fall, and kind of want to talk through the things that I've changed, and the things that have stayed the same from last year. So last year, I guess just starting off, we're not really going to talk through arrows. However, it's our Rampage, a Black Eagle arrow, 400 spine, focus system mounts. We'll talk about that more in another video. The things that have stayed the same. So this is the same bow I hunted with last year. Mathews Phase 4 did not upgrade to the lift this year. As cool as it is, I'm not going to go buy a bow every year. That's just the way it is. I heard I think it was Kendall from Black Ovis talk about having a 5 animal minimum per bow. I'm not quite sure that I'm going to go quite that, but maybe 5 animals plus years, added up, or something like that. We'll see. But nonetheless, not upgraded this year. Mathews Phase 4, 33. I went with a longer axle for this. This was my first bow. This is my first bow. This is my only bow. And the let off that I have right now, these mods are, like I said, 65 pounds, 80% let off. Montana maximum is 80% let off. So technically 85% is not legal. And I know a lot of people shoot a lot of bows. Talk to the local bow shop, and they say, hey, like we've talked to wardens, shoot some bows don't even come in that let off. We've talked to wardens, and they've said that it wouldn't be an issue. That said, I just don't want to go out into the field, and have that sort of issue for something over, 5% let off. I don't have a hard time. In fact, I actually don't shoot 85% let off ever. I haven't. So I don't necessarily know how that would feel or how that might affect my shot. This is 80%. That's what I've chosen. There we go. Starting us off, the sight. Black Gold Ascent Mountain Lite. This is the first sight that I went with. It was kind of had everything I wanted, all the different axis adjustments, including third axis adjustment. That's probably, I think, the one thing that it doesn't have that would be nice at times. You're left unscrewing cracking a screw and sliding things around, and sometimes that is less than precise, and don't I know it. Other than that, it's a great sight. It's definitely got me into shooting even long ranges. You can get out to 96 yards with my current setup with this sight. Before we go, one more thing on the sight. I did add at TAC, saw this little doodad, this Dial of Death. This is one of the made in collaboration with Bow Spider, I believe. And those guys, it's a little squeaky. I don't know if you can hear that. But I think that's kind of like only if you're really like moving your hand as you're tweaking it around. Like honestly, like just dialing, it's not super loud. I'm not super worried about it. In the woods, we'll see. If it starts to get really obnoxious, you might see me check it off at some point. But as of right now, I plan to keep that on. Stinger Microhex stabilizers. You can see that I have thrown some nice orange. Some nice orange electrical tape on here. One, it's nice to have some electrical tape in the backcountry. Two, it just adds a little bit of style to the bow, at least for me. And why not personalize things? So that's that. I have 1 ounce up front, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ounces out back. It's kind of heavy, like ounce wise, out back, but that seems to have worked really well for my shot. And so, I talked with I talked with Bodie when I was at the Elk Immersion experience, and was like, hey, Joel was like, hey, you probably need to get some weight off your bow. And he was like, actually, it seems fine. And so that was so I've kept it on there. It seems to balance out decently well right now, and I'm shooting better than I have been. Going up, I've from the beginning run this Hamskea Epsilon rest, drop away rest. It's the Elkshape version. Obviously, a big fan. It's always a nice reminder to look down. And, separation's in the preparation, right? Some of the things that have changed since, so some of the things that have changed, starting with this year. First off, release. I guess technically is not a change from last year. I'm shooting the Carter Wise choice. I really like this release. However, I probably will look to switch to a Stan Onyx next year. Stan Onyx clicker. I like the concept of the clicker. The other thing, the biggest thing actually, is that one of the things that I switched to this year was, actually within the last couple months, was instead of really pulling back here, was instead doing more of a squeezing motion with these fingers. And with the way that this release is, squeezing here, it can be done, but it's not quite such a hard anchor point there, it being slanted at the top. That is a planned upgrade. We'll see if I actually do that, but that is the plan. I've heard a lot of good things about the click and the clicker, so look to make that upgrade in the near future. The release holder. This is from Advanced Outdoor Technologies. I'll throw a link in the description to them. This is the 3 Wise Men holder, and this fits the Wise choice, the Knock to it, and one of the other ones, I believe. Anyway, you can look at this specific one, and I really think this is a cool way to have my release. So last year, I had my this release, in my bino harness in the pocket, just like this. And as I walked around, I noticed that it would bounce around, right? Not a huge deal until I went to pull back on the animal that I was going to shoot on the deer, and noticed that this knob had become undone, and all of a sudden was super floppy, and I basically had to kind of adjust my shot and really wrap around to make, just to kind of hold it in place and pull through and make that shot. And so I'm really looking forward to having this on my bow for one reason: one, to get it off that kind of friction point. Not that it's couldn't get bumped around and still get loose on here. But I think that just having the release with the bow, live with the bow, even just in practice, has been a better feeling for me. I enjoy the release living with the thing that it shoots, or the apparatus that it makes fire. So there it is. I was initially concerned with it potentially falling off, right? Like, how easy is this thing to get bumped, etc. Honestly, with the magnets, like, it takes quite a bit of force to pull that off. And then on top of that, you have this little hook. You can tighten this hook down. I will be tightening that down a little bit more before we go into hunting season, just to kind of make sure I don't right now have any concerns about it getting bumped around. As I hike around and things like that, I often do it with a bow in my hand, and have not had any issue with that getting bumped or anything like that. So release holder, release lives with the bow. I still have a backup release in my pack, and that stays with my possibles kit, essentially. The last few things here. I have the Elkshape side plates. I like those. It's still a little slippery for me, even with some of the grip here. I like the look of them. However, you see that I put some this is Talon Wraps grip tape even that has been worn away quite a bit. I would say I'm not changing anything this year, but man, for next year, I might look to just move to like full on like skateboard tape or something like that. Something that might not wear down quite so quick. Because yeah, I noticed a lot of wear there. However, I will say that over the last, especially just few weeks, I have been really trying to dial in my grip, and I went from a grip that was kind of more like down here with having this gap here because of trying to avoid the rest hitting my hand when it comes down, like because of just the skin that I have and stuff like that. This always kind of smacks me in the back of the hand. I was trying to avoid that, avoid as little torque as possible, and have found that the torque that I was getting when I kind of started doing that was more actually from my pressure on my nose pressure on the string. And so I have kind of adjusted to a little bit more high grip. It was also something that Bodie mentioned to me, that I tend to have a very high grip and it didn't have as much contact at the bottom of the bow. And so since I've been trying to adjust and get a little bit more even contact, a little bit more full hand, and that has kind of also brought me back up against the top of the riser there. Still smacks my hand sometimes. That's not my favorite thing. It's annoying, but it is what it is. And it happens less when I do it right. So we're working on making that consistent. Last things here. I threw some moleskin on here and kind of wrapped the sides with electrical tape, just trying to kind of keep that dead and deaden as much as possible as far as the arrow clinking off the riser. Man, I'm still looking for a better solution for that. Like, there's still a little bit more sound than I would like. The electrical tape doesn't always stick. It's like come up here and stuff like that. And it kind of annoys me, but it's the best I've got right now. It should work for this season, and I don't know what else is out there. Honestly, I would love to just like shrink wrap or something like that. The top here. I don't know. Maybe there's some option out there that I haven't seen yet, but something different might be better. Still dialing sight tape. Still dialing that in. Need to rerun after. This is actually technically Spokane's sight tape, so we're a little bit different here, and then going to be a little bit different further from where we hunt. So I want to calibrate that, if you will, run that back through precision cut archery, and get another sight tape. Last thing that's on the bow. This is the Mathews 2-piece quiver. Man, I have gone through things. I have gone through. I tried the tight spot, one of the new tight spots, and was trying to kind of take that on and off while I was shooting. Again, in conversation with Bodie, he was just like, "That's really heavy. You probably should dump that." And so I ended up doing that and coming back to the Mathews 2-piece. Yeah, this is where it's going to be for this season. We're going to stick with the Mathews 2-piece. The last thing before we get to strings, the engage limbs. I actually shoot with these on a lot. I really like having them. They make the bow easy to set down, really easy to grab. You don't got to like bend all the way down. You just kind of set it. Keeps the bow out of the dirt and stuff like that. They're really nice. They're also really heavy. So these are not going to be on my bow hunting. I may throw them in the pack just to have a way to set the bow down, at night and stuff like that. I'm still even debating that. I got to weigh these things and see what they weigh. But as of right now, all right. Hope I didn't break them. All right. last but not least, the string. So I guess there's one other piece in conjunction with the string. But so we're going to talk about the string. These are gas strings. I don't remember if they are gas ghosts. I don't remember the exact type. But these strings are what we put on at the elk immersion course. They were ordered specifically for my bow. And with my specs, so that was really cool to walk through putting the string on myself. No, if I had to do it again, I would still not be able to do it just from memory of that. I would still need lots of YouTube help. Yes, lots of YouTube help. That said, having done it once and watched 2 other people do it, I think that it gave me a lot of confidence in doing that. Also, now having a bow press, I know that I haven't gotten that set up, but once I get that set up, I know that this is something that I will be doing. I mentioned that after season, adjusting the poundage to be more accurate to the mods that I have, or to be at the maximum at closer to spec with the mods that I have, rather than a pound and a half under or so, is something that I will look to do. And the last thing that I did as part of this string was add a nose button. Adding that nose button gave me a little bit more clearance from shooting. It also gave me a more defined anchor point, just being able to feel that, and has shown that I still am dealing with consistency in my form, and sometimes anchoring just a little bit lower, a little bit higher, etc. Dan just released a video on Elkshape talking about, in a conversation with Joel Turner, talking about how his anchor point was a little loose. I don't think that I have, and that came from his draw length being a little too short. I don't think I have that problem, but I do know that just my consistency is not quite where I would like it, and so it does lead to some up and downs, I believe. The nose button is kind of a way to try and get better at some of that consistency. You can tell when your anchor point is different, because sometimes it might end up here or on the tip or on the side. That tells you, oh, something, I have done something wrong, and I need to either let down or redraw and get back into my position, or just adjust and figure out where I need to place my hands. Last but not least, well, I guess technically the string was last, but I plan to have 3 fixed. So I won't hunt with 6 arrows. I plan to have 3 fixed, 2 mechanicals, and probably keep a field point on here as well. That's my current plan. That probably is the one thing that's up for debate, or up for potential change. All right. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if there's anything I am missing particularly. Man, what do you do for here? What do you do to help keep your arrow quiet on your riser, and avoid any of that sound, and get a little bit more muted? Yeah, let me know what you do for that. I'd be interested to know, be interested for any ideas. And this is what I'll be hunting with this fall. No backup bow yet, so if we have problems, we got to fix it ourselves. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. See you next time.